Hi there guys, I'm Chris Bowden, and you're not. Welcome to the Geek Group, where today we're going to autopsy a classic hard drive. This is actually like, what, maybe 91 vintage, really early 90s vintage. This is a, I think it's compact. I seem to remember seeing on it. Yeah, it was a compact. Yeah, this is an old school compact SCSI drive. There's top view for you. There's the end. You can see it's a SCSI 2. Here's the bottom. Look at the size of those chips. They're huge. Huge. It's like first gen surface mount technology. It's freaky big. So let's get into it. We'll start by taking the seal off. See if I can find the end to it. Man, this is chewed up. It's got some miles on it. Big aluminum tape seal. So we'll take this all right off. Ugh. Oh, and it peels. Look at that. That's more like sheet aluminum than like aluminum foil. I'm going to, oh, hey. That's the way to do it. Let me see if I can peel. Oh, it's because it goes under. That's the problem. Get in here with a pair of hemostats. You can do this like a can of Spam, if I can get a good grip on it. You ever had Spam, Corey? No. You never had Spam? You've never had Spam? No. Like ever? No, I don't. Dude, that's like not having bacon. There's just...
That is completely the opposite of that.
It's very...
Bacon looks good.
You know they're both made of pork, right?
I completely understand that.
For varying values of pork, but yeah.
I cannot say
Class D utility grade pork, but it's pork nonetheless.
I can't stand you where you compare bacon and Spam.
All right, you need some bacon. I worry about you. I worry about your well-being. All right, now I'm going to take out all the screws on the top here. It just sounds totally different. Like it's got this big empty ringing noise to it. Let's take a look at how far hard drives have come since then. I wonder how big this drive is. It doesn't say on it. It just says, compact. This is a model number Charlie 2247. So maybe somebody out there can comment with how big this is. I'm guessing it's a gig or less though. I'm pretty sure of that.
Well, that other drive that I brought is only like 49 megabytes. So.
Yeah. Okay. It wouldn't surprise me if this was like 100 or 200 meg. But it's certainly back in the day. I had some drives about this big out of a server that I seem to remember were a gig, but that was a long time ago. So, all right, here we go. Let's open it up. Dun dun dun. Wow, the cover's heavy. Look at how heavy that is. Now see, it looks cool from the top, but if you pan down, you can see it. Zoom right in on there. Look at that. That is made of awesome. It's so huge. And you can notice these are brown, which means these are actual old school iron oxide. Now the cool thing that we can do, is that plugged in?
Yes.
All right. You ran it really through the thing? Okay. Now make sure we're turned off. That's off. I've got power right here. This should spin up. It'll spin up, I believe. Now look at this back. Even back then, we still got the air filter right there. See, it's just it actually looks like a cleaning patch for a gun, but yeah, we don't need that. Now let's turn on. It's turned on. It's got a green light. Do something, dude. I got nothing.
Yes, I told you they were giving it to me under. Yeah,
but it should spin up.
Well, I was they were giving it to me, and I was told.
I got a green light on the drive. I got a green light on. You could spin. It may need a little bit. Some drives had a delay programmed in, so we'll wait a minute patiently. Now, while we're waiting for that, let's look on the drive. There's actually a relay here with a little hook. Oh, there it is. Sorry, you guys couldn't see it. But there's a little relay here with a hook on the armature that holds the voice coils. You can see the giant magnets here. It's really neat. There's the magnets for the voice coil assembly. In the middle is the actual voice coil armature thing itself. And then here's the armature. Now if I actuate the little lever, I should be able to move this out of the way, which is really hard because it's all, oh, that's the problem. All right, I got to turn it off. I see something that's making it angry. When I took those screws off, this magnet clamped down. So it's Gerber time. I'm gonna lever this off. That whole magnet assembly is floating now. Ah, there. All right, and that goes on the side of the toolbox. Now the bottom magnet should be okay. Yeah, that'll move now. This has a bad smell. But we should be able to spin up at this point. Yeah, it's not holding the spin or nothing. It really bites. I was hoping it'd spin up because there's so much mass to that platen.
You want to try the other one?
Yeah, let's try the other one. See if we can get that one working. You brought two of them. All right, I'll turn this off and unplug it. We'll get that out of the way. Oh wow, that's the big ugly. Okay, now this is it's dated 8/23/91, DVB. So yeah, 8/23/91. Who made it? It's a Seagate. It is a Seagate model ST157N. There it is, you can see it. So let's open this up. What I really want to autopsy is one of the old MFM style drives. Like, those are pretty much the oldest PC hard drives. So if anybody out there has some MFM drives, they'll let us tear apart and destroy in the interest of exploring and science and all the cool things it is our job. Send them in. You can just send me an email at info@thegeekgroup.org and I'll send you shipping information because we do not have any in stock. I've looked. We got a couple giant scuzzies that I want to take apart. All right, we'll get screws out of the way. I need that one. All right, now let's, before I open it up, I'm going to see if I can power it up. Oh, it's way over here. Look at that. That's kind of cool. You're used to looking on the end of the drive, and there's a connector, but the power is actually vertical over here. Plugged in good. Oh yeah, that's the sound of happy. The drive's like, I'm alive! Ah! Look, wow, that's ugly. Oh, check it out! Pre-voice coil construction. Look at that. See that? That's a stepper motor, yo. Here, we'll turn it down so it'll go through a thing. All right. Now, this is really cool. All right, we've got old school platens. There's 3 platens in there, so a maximum of 6 heads. And this is a stepper motor over here. That's not, this is what they had before voice coil construction. So if I turn this on, that's so cool. I'm going to zoom way in under so you guys can see that. Look at that. Isn't that neat? Stepper motor construction. Here, we'll power cycle it a few times just so we can make it do the little dance again. You can see when it turns off, it carries it in, and it's actually moving that. It has to do that on purpose. It isn't doing that by like airflow. It knows that when the power goes off to take it all the way inside. That's the landing zone. And I will bet the landing zone on this is 65535. That's the address, 65535. Now comment in if you can figure out what the significance of that number is. But back in the day when you had drives this big, the landing zone was almost always 65535, which would be all the way to the inside. That's the extreme inside travel. Now here it's turned on. Here we go. Listen. That's so cool. I'm not going to take this any further apart. I'm just going to leave it just like that because it's so beautiful. It's so, you never get to see this anymore. That's just awesome. So yeah, there's your look inside antique hard drives. Next one we're going to do will be an MFM. We'll find one. I'm sure one of you guys out there will have one kicking around in the basement. If you don't know, if you want an easy way to tell, here's how to spot an MFM drive. Okay. First off, it'll be big. Okay, it'll probably be about that thick. It'll look like a brick. It'll weigh a ton. On the end of the drive, instead of a plug like this, here zoom right in. You see it right there. See that big wide plug? That's a SCSI plug. It's like an IDE plug, but even bigger. Okay. On the end of the drive, instead of a regular plug like this, it'll have a card edge connector. It'll look like an old ISA card. And that's what you're looking for, is it'll have like the little gold fingers in an edge. There'll probably be 1 or 2 different plugs, and that's definitely an MFM drive. Old school, they're huge, they weigh a ton. This is a half height drive. MFM drives almost always will be about that thick, so they'll be really big. So there's what you're looking for. Big brick. It'll probably have a case of the aluminum, the anodized aluminum, that funny color there. If you've got one, please email me. We want to autopsy one bad. It'll be really cool. So yeah, there's your look inside old school stepper motor drives. This is how they used to do it, where with this kind of drive, it actually counts their little pulses to move that in and out. It'd be one little step. Here, I'll bring it up again so we can take a really good look at that. I want to keep playing with this. It's fun. This is so cool. I love my job. All right, now watch. You'll actually hear it as it comes up. Do we have a microphone of some kind that I can put right down here so that people can hear that? You got any ideas? Huh?
We get the handheld, but I figured.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm actually gonna unplug my mic and I'm gonna put it right down in here so people can hear that. Here, there's my mic. All right, now watch this. All right, now what it just did was here, I gotta get that out of the way. Go in there. There. All right, now what it just did was its boot up sequence. And it's a BIOS test basically for a hard drive. So it's finding out what's where, and it's all the stuff that it's programmed to do on its own, because this drive right now isn't hooked to a computer. They have their own built-in controller that does a basic power on self test, and that's a post. On the other drives, they do that too, but modern drives have, well, the other one had it too. That actually illustrates it really well. All right, so this is what we had back in the day. Now, modern drives have that was the next step in technology, where there's a coil of wire on the armature. Now you notice this one still has the armature. Okay, you can see there's our bearing out there, and here's the actuator, and this moves it back and forth, and it moves the armature in and out with it. Okay, so every little notch this moves, that moves a corresponding notch, and that's the different cylinders on the drive. The hard drive is arranged in tracks and cylinders and sectors, and it's a whole thing. Look it up on Wikipedia. It's actually kind of cool. So let's turn this off. We'll unplug that. I'll set this one aside. Now this is what they evolved into after that.
Well, it's not gonna.
This one won't spin up, but I'm going to try again. I just don't want to give up on it. So I'll try it one more time, see if I can get it. Light comes on, nobody's home. All right, what this does, this is the next generation. We've still got the same armature. There's the pin in the middle, okay, the bearing, and this still moves when it isn't locked. So this moves back and forth like that. But what we've got is there's a permanent magnet under there, and then there'd be another permanent magnet right where my thumb is, and it'd sandwich in between those, and you saw that earlier. But there's a voice coil here, and it's just like in a speaker. You apply a continuously variable voltage, so that, like, let's say when you apply 10 volts into the coil, it pushes it all the way out, and at 10 volts the other way, it pushes it all the way this way. Or maybe that's 0 volts or something like that. It can't be, it's got to be some voltage at all times to control where this goes. But depending on the voltage, you can very, very precisely control where this is going to be. And that's very repeatable. And all you need is a really, really stable voltage source to be able to control where that goes. And that's how they do it here. And this way, with the stepper motors, you were limited to how many circular tracks you could have on the disc, how many tracks or cylinders you could create on the surface of the disc by the resolution of the stepper motor. Because you can only get the spaces, the steps of the motor so tiny. And that's why they have this weird convoluted thing with the little bar here. And what this is there's actually, you can see it. I think I can show it to you. All right, if you look down in there, see the screws right here, those two little screws? There's a continuous strip of really thin metal, and you can see it wrap up on the thing. Well, the other end of that top strip is right there. Okay, it's that screw. Then there's a bottom strip here, and one end is a screw here, and then the other end is a screw there, and these lock those two in place. So the relationship between this and that are very, very rigidly controlled. Now, the motor pin doesn't have to actually touch that for that to work. And this is good because this gets really hot in use and things expand and contract, so that's why they have the two little straps. But the distance in each step here moves that, and it's way out here. Now you've got a really long lever between there, that's your fulcrum, and that's your work point, and that gives you a lever of an effective length of, you know, let's say 3 inches, okay, from there. And by moving this, you move this. So the idea is you want to have as many circles as possible, because the more circular tracks you can get, the more data you can fit on a hard drive. And that was the limiting factor, was the width of the steps of this motor was the limiting factor of how much data you could fit on a drive. So some really clever guy came up with this, where there's no hard steps. It's continuously variable. And because of that, now just by changing over to this, you could easily double the capacity of a hard drive, maybe even more. Now the limiting factor isn't here, it's how tightly you can control this and actually how wide the heads on the end of these arms are. So make the heads more narrow, more tracks, more data, da 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 da. And it just, there's a million little tricks like that. But this is one of the few points in hard drive technology where you can actually see an instant, tangible physical difference when we went from stepper motor technology to voice coil technology. So it's really cool. And this one, that's like, you know, 10, 20 years old. Now we've got the new hotness right here, laptop drives, modern day drives right there. These are both recent drives. They're kind of old. That's like a 40, that's a 20 gig. But look, still we've got the exact same technology. There's the voice coil down in there. You can see it, especially if I can wiggle it out. Let me see if I can open this right up. I don't think there's anything holding that in there now. Yeah, look, here, I'll pop this right off. You can see, come to daddy. Pull that magnet out. That's not even a magnet, it's just a plate. It's a magnet cage. But look, right there, voice coils, ta-da! And it just took my tool. But look, voice coils. See, and there's the magnet under it, that's the field magnet. And there's the armature with the voice coils. It's a really cheap hard drive. Look at that crappy little wheedly construction. But yeah, see, there's your voice coil. And by applying a continuously variable voltage on that, you can make it move. And you can even do cool stuff like play music through it and make it into a real voice coil, which we're going to be doing again in an upcoming video. But if you check in our old ones, we've done it in the past in our old set. We actually played music through a hard drive. And you can do this at home. It's big fun with old junk hard drives. So that's what you should be doing for like your homework tonight. Go grab an old junk hard drive, play music through it. If you tape it to like a wall, it sounds a lot better, like a big table. So yeah, there's exploring hard drives, autopsy, exploring the differences between the old school stepper motor and the new hotness with the voice coil. You guys have fun, keep exploring stuff. I'm Chris Bowden with the Geek Group. Please remember to rate, comment, subscribe, and kick a buck. Avalon at thegeekgroup.org is the PayPal address. donate $1, donate $5, donate whatever it works for you. I don't care, but donate. Your donations make this possible, and we want to be doing a lot more than just making videos in the basement here. We want to be doing the big stuff. We want to get a new lab, build Avalon, and have a giant workshop where a couple thousand of you guys can come down and play. Help us build Avalon, the world's first giant science center, built completely through funding from everybody out in the world, real world people, not just the white glove and pearl crowd. So let's rock out. You guys have fun. I'm Chris Bowden with the Geek Group. See you next time. Bye.
This video was made possible by a grant from the Future Girl Foundation.
This video was made possible by thousands of private donations from members and viewers like you. Please visit thegeekgroup.org for more information on how you can donate and become a part of our dreams of Avalon.